Jose Rizal's first love story did not end with a kiss. It ended with a boy on a horse, frozen in the middle of a dusty road, watching the girl he loved wave goodbye and doing absolutely nothing. He was 16 years old. He would grow up to defy an empire, stare down a firing squad, and die without trembling. But on that afternoon in Calamba, the future national hero of the Philippines could not lift his hand to wave back. This is the story of Segunda Katigbak, the first woman Jose Rizal ever loved and the first he ever lost. And by his own written confession, he lost her not to fate, not to her family, not to another man's charm, but to his own silence. Manila, in the late 1870s. Jose Rizal was about 16, a brilliant, small-framed Ateneo student with restless eyes and a head full of poetry. One Sunday, he visited his grandmother's house in Trozo with his friend Manuel Katigbak, a schoolmate from a prominent family of Lipa, Batangas.
We act tonight.
Inside that house, among the guests, sat Mariano's younger sister. Her name was Segunda. Years later, hiding behind the pen name P. Jacinto, Rizal would describe that first sight of her in his student memoirs with the precision of a man who never forgot a single detail. She was about 14, shorter than he was. Not, he admitted with brutal honesty, a classical beauty. But she had eloquent, expressive eyes, cheeks that flushed rose, an enchanting smile that revealed beautiful teeth, and something in her presence that pulled every gaze in the room toward her. Rizal wrote that from time to time, she looked at him, and he, the boy who could recite Latin, sketch portraits, and win literary medals, blushed. The guests asked young Pepe to demonstrate his talent. He had been sketching, and someone passed his work around the room. Segunda studied it. She smiled, and in that moment, without a single word exchanged, something began that Rizal himself would later call the first spark, his first love, mi primer amor. He was doomed from the start. He just didn't know it yet. Fate, or perhaps Rizal's own quiet scheming, gave them a reason to keep meeting. Segunda was a boarding student at La Concordia College in Santa Ana, and by remarkable coincidence, so was Rizal's beloved younger sister, Olympia.
Do not look away.
Suddenly, the dutiful brother Jose began visiting Olympia at La Concordia every week. Visits that always, somehow, included Segunda.
You have
Picture
much
it,
to answer for.
the visiting hall of a strict colonial convent school. Chaperones hovering. Conversations conducted in careful, polite Spanish. And two teenagers stealing glances across the room, saying everything except the one thing that mattered. They talked, they laughed, they played games together at social gatherings. Rizal, ever the artist, sketched her portrait. And Segunda, in return, gave him tokens of her regard. In his memoirs, he recalled how she asked him for something to remember him by, and how their exchanges grew warmer, more charged, week after week. Rizal was falling, hard. He described himself as intoxicated, unable to stop thinking of her, composing verses in his mind, counting the days between Thursdays and Sundays when visits were allowed. But love stories in the 19th century Philippines were not written by the lovers. They were written by families. And Segunda's story had already been written. Because Segunda Katigbak, the girl with the eloquent eyes, was already engaged. His name was Manuel Luz, a young man from a respected family of Lipa, chosen and approved, the kind of match that made perfect sense to everyone except the two people falling in love in a convent visiting hall. Rizal learned the truth, and it cut deep. In his memoirs, he did not hide his anguish. Here was a love that seemed to answer him. He was almost certain she felt what he felt. And yet a wall stood between them, built long before he ever walked into that house in Trozo. And here we meet the flaw that Rizal himself confessed, the flaw that makes this story so painfully human. He was timid, irresolute. The boy who would one day write novels that shook an empire could not bring himself to speak the words that might have changed everything. He never openly declared himself. He never fought for her. He hesitated and hesitated and told himself there would be another chance. Then came the end of the school term. Word reached Rizal that Segunda was leaving Manila, going home to Lipa, where a marriage to Manuel Luz awaited her. Rizal returned to Calamba for the holidays, carrying a secret, desperate plan. Segunda's route home would pass directly through his hometown. The road to Batangas ran near Calamba. He would be there. He would ride out. He would meet her carriage on the road. And this time, he would finally say what he had never dared to say. The day came. Rizal mounted a white horse and rode out along the road near Calamba, his heart hammering. Every hoofbeat carried him closer to the moment of decision. In the distance, dust rising. A carriage, her carriage, bound for Lipa. It came closer, closer. He could see her now. And Segunda saw him. She leaned toward the window. She smiled, that same enchanting smile from the house in Trozo. And she waved her handkerchief at him, an open invitation, a final door left ajar. All he had to do was ride forward, call her name, say one word, and Jose Rizal, the man history would remember as fearless, froze. He did not spur his horse. He did not call out. He did not wave. He sat there, paralyzed, as the carriage rolled past him, as her face turned back toward the road ahead, as the dust settled and the sound of the wheels faded toward Lipa. He watched the woman he loved disappear over the horizon, and he let her go without a single word. Later in his memoirs, written under the name P. Jacinto, Rizal would record his own verdict on that moment with merciless honesty. He had yielded to his fatal hesitation. The affair ended not with a confrontation, not with a rejection, but with silence on a road and a wound he would carry into every love that came after. Segunda Katigbak went home. She married Manuel Luz. She raised a family in Lipa and lived out her life far from the storm that would one day surround the boy on the white horse. Today, their ancestral house stands in Lipa as Casa de Segunda, a quiet memorial to that first love. She was his first love, and she never knew a version of him that wasn't too afraid to speak. Here is what makes this story extraordinary. Rizal never blamed her. He never blamed Manuel Luz, or her family, or the rigid customs of his time. In his own writings, he pointed the finger at one person, himself, his timidity, his indecision, his silence. And perhaps that is exactly why he never made that mistake again. The boy who could not speak on the road at Calamba became the man who refused to stay silent about anything, not injustice, not tyranny, not truth. Some historians see in that first heartbreak a lesson seared into his character. That silence, in love or in life, is its own kind of loss. The moral is as sharp today as it was in the late 1870s. The words you are too afraid to say will haunt you longer than any rejection ever could. Courage delayed is often courage denied. Speak, while the carriage is still on the road. If this story of Rizal's first love moved you, tap that subscribe button, because this is only the beginning. This week on Pinas Unlimited, we're telling the stories of all the women who loved Jose Rizal, and the ones he could never forget,
Nothing ever felt as good
I believe
or
that
as
is a match.
easy
You are quite good.
as when we were young. Oh,